Hello everybody, this is the TheAireaidLord. I have a very special tutorial for all of you guys today. This tutorial is mainly for a friend of mine who I just sent a couple of PlayStation 2 games to over in Ireland. And the main purpose of this video is how to convert various PlayStation 2 files to other formats. Now, what I mean by this is that, as most people probably know, considering the system's been out for 10 years now, the PlayStation 2 is region locked, which means you cannot play a North American game, for example, on a console that somebody purchased in the United Kingdom. It wouldn't work because the systems have different coding, okay? Now, for America, the coding is known as NTSC coding, and the coding for Europe is known as PAL, P-A-L coding. Okay, so those are the two different codings that we're going to be working with. The main type of coding that we're going to do for this video is going to be NTSC to PAL. You can always do it the other way around, and the program that I'm going to be using offers both PAL to NTSC and NTSC to PAL. This video does not cover any Japanese versions because I know Japanese uses an actual different coding for Asian games. So unfortunately, I don't have anything for that. This is basically a tutorial just for converting PAL versions to the NTSC version. Okay? So with that kept in mind, let's go through the steps of the programs that you want to use for this procedure. First program that you're going to be using is actually right here. It's called DVD Decrypter. I will go through the steps on how to download that, and I'm actually going to leave a link to the download in the description of this video. The other thing you're going to want is a WinRAR zipped file of the actual patch file that you're going to need to patch your PC game, or sorry, not your PC game, your PlayStation 2 game from whatever region you want to the other region, okay? And I will show you exactly where that is. Again, I have a link in the description of the video. I will supply that, and we will go from there on how to set that up. And in the next segment, I will reveal how to get started. All right, so I have just uninstalled DVD Decrypter, and this is the website that you go to. I'll leave it in the description of the video. Basically, I'll walk through the installation process. You'll just hit this. Download DVD Decrypter. It'll go, if you're using Chrome like I am, it'll go into this little bar right here. And it appears it is done. You can open it. I'll have to accept that. And we'll go through the wizard. We can do both of those, I guess. We'll install it on that folder. And then it shows how much space I have and how much it requires and all that. I would say no to this because this program really isn't running anymore, as you can see on the website. It's just one version that's going to be there for like ever. I mean, not many people really need this kind of software anymore, so I would say no to that. And now when you do finish, just run it, and here we go. Alright, so now that we have our program up and running, we can actually see what kind of PlayStation 2 game I'm going to use with this software, and then we'll see how I'm pretty much going to go through a tutorial on how to get the script for reading the code from your PlayStation 2 disc, so that'll be next. Alright, so the game I'm going to use for this process is going to be Ratchet & Clank Going Commando for, obviously, the PlayStation 2. This is an NTSC version of the game, so I am obviously going from NTSC to PAL, the North American version of games, to the European version of games. So this is going to be the game that I use. All the files will be from this disc, okay? So let's proceed and actually put this into our CD drive on our computer, and once it loads up, the computer's probably not going to be able to read it, but the main thing we want to do is access it in the software DVD Decrypter. Okay, so this message is probably going to pop up when you put your PS2 disc into your computer, because your computer does not have the capability to read PlayStation 2 discs. So this is the mode that you're going to want, ironically enough. So let's just hit OK. And when you open DVD Decrypter for the first time, actually, let's go to our main screen here so we can have this open. And we'll put Elgato in the background. Right here we have DVD Decrypter. Alright, when you open the program, you're going to be given 2 logs. You'll be given this log right here, which is going to read all of the commands that you do for the program. It's going to document them here. And this is basically going to explain all of your modes and all the stuff that you do. So, what we're going to want to do is once you have your CD disk in the computer, you're going to want to go up to mode. We're going to go to ISO, and we're going to go to read. Okay? And you should hear your computer make a noise because it's going to be processing the file. And now, as you can see here, it automatically selected the file for me, but if it doesn't do that for you, just hit this little box right here that says Browse for a file. Hit that, and it should actually come up with your drives right here, and you can actually sort through your stuff. Now, I actually already did this as a test video. I actually already ripped the ISO from the game. So as you can see, you can see that the file is very large, 3.56 gigs. That's basically the entire Ratchet & Clank game I have now on a disk image file, basically. And I put it into that. And as you can see, the file type is an ISO file. This is the file type we want. So, because I already did it, I already have it. But basically, if you don't have a file selected, just hit Browse and then go and on your computer, look for the game. It's most likely going to be either in your documents or it'll be on one of these drives here. Just look in your drives, probably on one of these drives right here on your computer. Okay? So since I already have it for that, basically when we go to ISO, or I'll go back to mode here, we go read. Basically when you're set, it'll give you a whole bunch of information on the right here. Okay. Now this is the big one right here. This erasable no. This is going to be pertinent later on in the video, but just remember this. Okay. Then it's going to tell you the sections. It'll tell you how large it is. So this will tell you if it's the actual game or if it's something else. Obviously, since it's over 3 million bytes in data, we can assume that this is the full game. So, and then it'll give you some more information. This is the disk size. It'll give you some specifics for the game that you're putting in your thing. And it'll also tell you if the game is working properly with your computer. It'll also tell you the type. Remember this type, a DVD-ROM, because you're going to want this type when you put the disc back in your PS2. And again, I'll explain that when we get to that later part. Okay? So once you have the disc in, all you're going to want to do is hit Decrypt. Okay? And it'll basically go through this little menu right here where it says Complete. And it'll basically have 2 percentages. You're going to hear your computer loading the disk and reading all of this right here, all of the codes that go through. And it's going to go through elapsed time. It's going to basically go through the whole process of ripping to an ISO file. So basically wait for it to go to 100% on both bars. Okay, you can always hit this if you want to cancel it. And it's going to also tell you the destination on your C drive, and this is where it's going to be. So this will tell you where you can access it. Most of the time it'll be in the Documents folder, your main folder for all of your stuff. And then it'll tell you the free space that you have on your computer that'll support it. Okay? So I'm going to cancel this because I already did this. Yeah, we can delete that. So that's basically how you do it in DVD Decrypter, okay? What you're once that entire process is complete, you're going to have a new file on your computer, which is an ISO file, which I actually already accessed, just to show you it again. It's in my documents. Actually, let me open my documents. I can show you at the bottom here. It would be right here. This is the disk image file. If we hit properties on this, it would actually give us the properties for the disk image file. This is what you want. Type of file, disk image file, ISO. This is the type you're looking for, okay? Now, curious if I was to do this, what kind does it say it is? This is an MDS file. This is slightly different. this is related to it, but we'll go over that in the next section. Okay, so basically, if you followed that correctly, you will have created a new ISO file in your documents on your computer once you hit this right here, the decrypt button, once you have your disk in your computer. And again, going to mode, ISO, and read. This is the specific where you go when you're on the DVD Decrypter program, okay? Alright, so in the next part, we are going to actually open the patch file so we can change what we just took off of this CD. And that'll be in the next part. Part of this activity, we are going to need to download the program that is going to patch these files for us, okay? So I'm going to leave the link in the description, but I'll show you how to do it because it's really easy. It's not like you need to go to any website and download a whole bunch of shit. You will need to download a certain program called WinRAR, which is basically, it's similar to like 7-zip. It's basically a folder program that can extract files. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So first, open up your web browser. Using this link, I'll explain it. And I don't know why this website's always up on my freaking thing, but I'm going to paste it right here. You can paste this from the link that I supply in the description. Basically, it's from an application website, and after the 2 forward slashes, put in NTSC2PAL with the Y-fix. Y-fix is important. And then .zip. If you hit enter, it will give you this. Do you want to open or save this? And we will say, well, you could save it or open it, but let's just open it for the sake of it. And now, this is where we have our programs. Now, I already have WinRAR, as you can see, PS2, NTSC2PAL, Y-fix source 7-zip, or zip, and then WinRAR. I'll supply a link in the description of the video as well on how to download WinRAR. It's really, really simple. It's just a quick program, and it's actually very easy to open many files that use it. Okay, so now when we're here, we're going to select this, and now once you click on this, it'll bring up this little window right here. It says PS2. Make sure it says NTSC to PAL. It could say it the other way, PAL to NTSC. It works both ways. This, we want NTSC to PAL. Now, let's say you're watching this video and you want to transfer your game from PAL to NTSC. Well, in the link that I just pasted, if I paste this link, basically all you want to do is change it from PAL to NTSC instead of NTSC to PAL. Okay, so just flip the wording around within this link. Don't change anything else. Only change this part right here. And once you change that and flip the words around, it'll give you a download link for the other thing. Okay, so I'm going to open the patch file up again, and we're going to hit browse. And once we hit browse, we're going to scroll down, and we're going to look for our ISO file. It's only going to accept ISO's file, so do make sure that you saved it somewhere where you remember it, and also make sure you know what type of file it is. It's only giving me document properties. Yeah, here we go. It's ISO. If we select it, I am unsure if this is the version I already patched. So if I patch it, it might give me an error, but let's see. Already patched. Yeah, see, NTS2PAL already patched. Y-fix could not find any path locations. So I already patched mine. So once you extract your file using the ISO from the DVD Decrypter, select the same file using the browse feature to find it in your documents here. And then once you click OK, it'll put it in this bar right here. And then you hit patch. Now, one thing before we move on to the next part, do not, and I repeat, do not click this. This is going to fuck up the screen when you play your game, so do not click this at all, okay? Now, in case you don't want your file to be patched, you could actually hit restore if you really wanted to, but that's in case you wanted to go back to the original version, okay? So that's how you patch it, and now on your computer, you should now have a new ISO file that says the name of your game, and then it should say a 2 after it. Like, for example, the file that I chose was actually the file that I already patched. This right here. See, it says Ratchet & Clank 2, but it's changed. The file is different now. And that's confirmed in the fact that when I try to patch it, if I could get to it, if I patch it, it says that I already patched it, so I can't do it again. So this confirms that this file is in the PAL format. Okay, so now that it's in the PAL format, we now have an ISO. To recap, we have an ISO that has the PAL game format. So now what we need to do is put that information, that coding, we need to write it onto a CD disc. And that's the disc we're going to put in our console so we can play the game. So in the next part, I will explain that, and I'll also explain some things that I discovered while trying to do this in several different ways. So stay tuned. Okay, so now we're at the stage where we want to select what type of CD we want to put our information on to write with. Now, as I said in the previous part, you cannot actually write any of the codes that you have for your new PAL version of your game to the disk that you used to get that code from itself. You can't use it. So in the case of Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, which I was using on my computer, I can't write to it because it's a read-only kind of thing and it won't allow that. So you are going to need blank CDs. This is an example of a blank CD I have right here. A CD -R. Now, pretty ironic because this is actually the recommended type of CD you use. I believe there are different types like CD plus R, CD minus R, CD-ROM, something like. There's a whole bunch of different versions, and if you see the little minus sign right there, that means that you're in good shape. Okay, this is the type that the PS2 usually accepts. I've heard that people have had problems loading games, like the music's kind of slow and there are graphical problems depending on what type of CD you use. So that's really going to be the determining factor. I've heard that CD-ROMs with the minus sign work to the greatest quality on the PlayStation 2. So just keep that in mind when you go to write to the CD. I would suggest using a CD like this, and make sure it's completely blank so that you can write your code to it, and then you'll be good to go. So the next part will be the last. Okay, so the final part of this video is basically writing the code to your CD disc. Now, something I did not mention in that last video where I was comparing the Ratchet & Clank and the blank CD is that in order to write the coding to a blank CD, the blank CD has to be, obviously, it has to be large enough to support how large the file is that you want, the ISO file. So, for example, okay, I'm going to go into my documents, I'm going to show you. So, here. Hit properties, okay? Now look at the size of this file, okay? This is the size of Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. 3.56 gigabytes, okay? Which means that the CD that I have in my computer right now, which I'm going to put in a minute, has to be large enough, larger than 3.56 gigs, to support this writing. Because it's not going, if it's not large enough to support it, then not all of the data is going to go on, and it's going to be like an incomplete game, and the transfer is just not going to work, okay? So I'm going to show you what happens, all right? So I'll close the lid on my CD because I did just figure out my CD is not actually large enough. I don't have any CDs lying around that are large enough to support such a download. All right, so the CD is being analyzed by my computer at the moment. And once the little window activate DVD Decrypter. I guess we can just open it anyways. Okay, so for writing, you got to go to Mode, ISO, and Write. I already have it selected. Now, this is the important information right here. Okay, it's going to say the disk information. Right, the status of the disk is empty. We want the status of the disk to be empty. However, we need the free sectors. The free sectors on the disk that I have are 359,000, okay? And unfortunately, if I'm going to hit this button, it's going to come up with a message telling me that I don't have enough space. The sectors on your disk need to be more than the sectors on the disk that you're trying to write the ISO for, okay? So the file, obviously, that I'm looking for when I select file would be this. It's already selected. And you can have the write speed for other stuff. The write speed, I usually do it to 4. 4 is the best write speed. And then when you're ready, just hit this button. And now, because I have a smaller disk, the space on the disk is smaller than the space on the game itself and the ISO. If you hit this button, it's going to come up with this message. There doesn't appear to be enough space on the disk to burn this image. Image size, so this is it. The image size of this game is 1,867,000 sectors. The disk size is 359,000. That's really, really small. So this basically tells me that I need a disk that's way, way, way larger than what I have. So unfortunately, I can't continue this process and show you what would happen at the end. So basically, if you do have a disk that's large enough, all you would do is just do what I did, hit this button, and it would take some time. It would have to process. But when it's done, you would basically have a CD disk that basically can run the game. So now your blank CD is no longer blank. It now has the ISO, the patched ISO of the PAL formatted game. And when you're ready, all you do is insert it into your PlayStation 2 console, and it should be working. I haven't had problems when I've done it before, so it should be working. 99% of the times it does in fact work. Okay. So if you have any questions, please just leave a comment. I can give you some specifics. Again, all the links will be in the description of the video. If you have any suggestions, again, you can buy CDs that are like 5 gigs, 4 gigs in size, just so you know. But that is the size of if you wanted to play Ratchet and Clank and download it. But for my friend P-Dog, who got the Jak and Daxter games, I can't really say how big those games are because I don't have them with me right now. But let's hope that he has a disc that's large enough for that, and I hope this tutorial helped anyone else who was looking to convert different games into the PAL and NTSC files that are the American versions. And I hope this video helped you. Thank you for watching. And any questions? Oh, and then it's gonna give me this message. But yeah, look at this. That's silly. If there's a process that fails, the fucking thing goes haywire. But anyway, that's the end of my tutorial for how to convert games between regions. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you for future videos in the future. Thanks a lot.